I know. Can you give us an update on where we stand with this big, I'm calling it the fugly bill?
Okay, I call it the big bullshit bill. There's
Perfect.
nothing good about it, so I think we're both in the same ballpark here. And it's right now being held up. The Republicans don't have the votes for it, and I just want to back up so that your followers understand how hard it has been for them to pass it. So just to get it out of the House over to the Senate, they were only able to do that by one vote. Then it goes to the Senate, and J.D. Vance has to come and Hegseth the thing, right? It's the only way Hegseth became the secretary. J.D. Vance broke the tie, came in, got him across the finish line. So again, in the Senate, barely could pass it, only by one vote. Comes to the House so that we can do like the final passage, make the changes that they have sent over, vote yes or no. In the House Rules Committee, they only passed it by just one vote. And now it's being stalled on the House floor. But it's not for the reason that you are hoping, because you would probably be hoping that somebody who is a moderate Republican who has like 40 to 50,000 people in their district who will lose their health care, that they would be negotiating to bring that number down. No. The people who are now holding it up are the most extreme MAGA Republicans who want more cuts. So 50 to 60,000 people in each district, which is about 17 million people across America, that's not enough. They want more people to lose their health care. That's why it's being held up right now.
It's absolutely crazy. Just everything morally, because you think that people who are elected officials are supposed to be representing the people. And this is not helping anyone. I was under the impression that no more amendments could be done once it comes back to the House, but this sounds like there can be more amendments, or are they going to vote against it in order to create a new version of this bill to have more cuts?
Yes, they would have to go back to the drawing board to make more cuts, and they can do that, and then the Senate would again have to come back and vote on it. But the real question I have is, why would anybody vote for this bill? It's unpopular in every corner. As I said, if you care about your constituents losing their health care, you don't want to vote for this bill. If you don't want to see a 25% increase in your energy bill because we're going to get rid of wind and solar in America, you don't want to vote for this bill. If you don't want to see, and this one I think should really bother people, hospitals across America close because they're going to be closing, particularly rural hospitals, you don't want to vote for this bill. And if you care about the debt and deficit, where this is going to add $5+ trillion to it, you don't want to vote for this bill. So who is asking for this bill? It seems to me it's really just a Palm Beach payback for the billionaire bros who went down to Mar-a-Lago, contributed to Donald Trump, contributed to his campaign and legal fees and inauguration, and they're going to do well, but nobody else is. And so why would anyone want to vote for this?
I don't know, because I wouldn't want to vote for it. I'm urging people to contact their representatives to not vote for it. What do you say to people who believe, well, I'm not on Medicaid, so this doesn't apply to me? Maybe I do have solar, and so this doesn't apply to me because my electricity bills won't go
Yeah,
up. Because I say it affects everybody in some way, shape, or form, because insurance rates will go up. So then you do pay for it if you have regular insurance.
right.
What do you tell people who say it doesn't apply to me?
Yeah.
So whatever.
So the fewer people who are insurance, the more we all pay. The fewer hospitals there are that are available. So if somebody at a rural hospital, somebody in a rural community loses their rural hospital, and you live in the suburbs and you think, well, that's not my hospital. Well, where do you think they're going to go? So now when, your kid has the croup in the middle of the night and you got to go to the hospital, you may be waiting a lot longer and paying a lot more because the rural hospital that the family sitting next to you typically would have gone to is now closed. And as it relates, to the grid, unless you are like truly off the grid, we all pay our public utility. And so in California, for example, PG&E depends on a lot of solar, wind, and other alternative fuel sources. And now that the administration is going to get rid of incentives for that and put back in place incentives for coal, again, we're all going to pay more. So we're all in this together. And if for some reason you're fortunate enough to not be bothered by any of those things, I still hope just like being a good neighbor matters. And I just want to give you one example because this hit me personally yesterday. So I'm obviously back in DC, and My family's on like a family vacation we do every 4th of July, and we've got like 30 family members who get together. And as my wife was FaceTiming me, one of our family members jumped into her FaceTime and yelled, "Vote no," and like put her thumb down. This struck me because this person I know is a Republican, I know has voted with Republicans, but sees it as her health care is affected. And so that's what's at stake here. It is a betrayal if you believe Donald Trump when he said, "I'm not going to touch Medicaid." Now all of a sudden you're finding actually so that the billionaires can get bigger tax cuts, he has to touch Medicaid.
It's amazing that it does take to be affected for so many people to actually care more. And it's infuriating when we've warned everybody for
But
so
we just
long.
have to we have to bring them into our coalition, right? Like if you were a federal
Yes.
employee who thought you'd never be touched by Doge and you live in the middle of the country and you thought, well, this is just for Washington bureaucrats and then you've lost your job. We can't say, oh, you voted for this. This is what you get. No, we need to bring you into our coalition. And I've met people exactly in that position. So this has to be, for me, all about addition and growing the coalition.
And what advice do you give to anybody watching, listening? What can they do right now? I keep urging everyone to call their representatives. We're
Yeah.
faxing them, we're emailing them, whatever. Do you have any other tips or advice or asks
Yeah,
for
so
everybody?
that works because again, this bill so far has not been able to pass at any process, any stage in its procedure by more than one vote. So every single representative matters here, and I would say obviously if you can make a phone call, do that. If you can go to their district office, that is even more impactful. If you're the only one doing it, sure, it probably won't make a difference, but I promise you, you're not. Even our office is being flooded with calls. So be loud, be present, and tell the story. Because at the end of the day, we don't vote for policies, we vote for people. And people have stories. And I think those stories can be incredibly effective. And then if this thing does pass, remember the names. Because those are the
Yes.
people who took healthcare and should never again be trusted to govern on your behalf.
And where do we go from here? What are we looking at time-wise for voting next steps?
So we expect in the next hour or so, they will vote on one more procedural vote. Then we'll have a debate on the House floor for 1 to 2 hours, and then the final vote. So this is quite imminent, and that's why the voices of all of your followers really matter right now.
Thank you so much.
Of
I
course, thank
appreciate
you.
you. I hope that you don't have a long sleepless night ahead of you. It doesn't
All right.
sound like you will.
This is my job. I
Excellent.
know what I signed up
Thank
for,
you.
and you're all in too. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for showing us what a leader looks like and representing all of us. Appreciate you.
Of course. Thanks, Michelle.